This is the Mercedes EQE. It's one of the most luxurious electric cars that money can buy right now. And money, well, it is an object because this car starts at €85,000. This car in the video is about €105,000. It has a 90 kilowatt hour battery, delivering a range of up to 600 kilometers. Real world, somewhere around the 500s, but still a very decent amount. It is a 294 brake horsepower rear motored car, and it is somewhere between, if you imagine an E-Class and an S-Class, and somewhere in the middle, and that gives you the idea of the luxuriousness of the car and where it is in terms of size, because the EQS is the S-Class equivalent of the electric offering from Mercedes, but that starts at €130,000. We do have a little bit of a video, a very early first look at that. That's up here. That car I think was about €180,000. So what's it like to be behind the wheel of? What's the space inside like? Will the boot fit your golf clubs? It'll certainly look good in the golf club. And let's have a little walk around tour of the quirks and the design of this EQE from Mercedes. Welcome to Nobby on Cars. Looks wise on the EQE, it's got a face that is a little bit different maybe to what you'd be expecting from some Mercedes cars, because there's obviously, first of all, no vents, but it's quite a large piece of black that you're getting on the front of the car. But that said, even on a brighter colour like this silver, it's still very nice, isn't it? So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but some people have said, not sure about the face. Side profile, very much like a coupe or a CLS stance to it. It's a sloping roofline. Still gives you a decent headroom inside the car though. And at the back, some could argue that it's actually possibly prettier there with the strip of light across the back. Bit of black contrasting down at the lower splitter on the car. This 350 Plus version has an EQE badge on the back, and that Mercedes sign opens your boot and also operates a camera for traffic. So even if you pull up at a set of lights, it gives you a better kind of idea of cyclists and who's around you, and that just comes up on the screen on the dashboard. It's an optional extra, but very cool. These are alloys, obviously unusual looking discs and drums. That's an obvious way of spotting that it's an electric vehicle actually. The door handles pop out as you approach the car. You can lock it like this. You can open it like that. And when it's darker, you can see that there's actually a light there. This car also has blind spot in the mirrors, and you have EQE on your badges. So that's an outside vibe of what this electric car from Mercedes is all about. Now on the boot, so you open that, pops up, a bit of gear there and camera stuff, but the opening is probably a bit smaller than what you might expect from a saloon, and the glass comes down quite a bit, so it is not probably the biggest boot in the world that you might be expecting in the car. That said, down here is a bit more storage for cables, granny cable, and a compressor kit if you are unfortunate enough to get a flat tire. So door handles open, and the doors themselves is a decent wide opening. Straight away you see the ambient lighting, which is just so good. It's just like nighttime, especially, even along the sides of the seats here, that all lights up in ambient lighting. Red seat belts, some people may balk at them, but I think they look alright. And that's the headspace for your sloping roofline. You also get an armrest in the car. You'd kind of be expecting that for the price. Push that open and out comes your... What is this over there actually? It's like... Where's the rest? Okay. I presume there's somewhere else for drinks then, is there? And then hopping into the car, these seats are quite wide in how they work around here. With that said, still decent visibility over here and over at the corner. Knee room is plentiful. And actually even there's decent amounts of room for your feet. Also, you kind of might want to expect to see something here for climate. There is 2 USB-C charging ports down here though. And these little flexible buckets, bins are on the backs of the driver and passenger seat. Front of the car is really where things get gorgeous. Like, look at all that brushed aluminium, lighting. There's so many different colour modes you can change that lighting to. Over here is your adjustable settings for your seat, memory seats, 3 memories. Heated seat button is here. This material, like, it looks like Alcantara and suede, but it doesn't feel like it. It's soft at the touch. It's lovely quality material. Same with the seats. Very, very durable and comfortable. They're quite large. Big, huge space down here for storage. But really what captures you all the time is the ambient lighting. It's just so good. There's so many different modes that you can do with these. So you go to all settings, you go to lights, ambient lighting, and you have a version that actually pulses around the cabin. So here's all the different colours that you can change it to. And you can see there the lighting effect in the seat itself and in the rear for passengers. It's just so funky looking. Down here we have good, and I mean good, armrest area. There's more space here for hiding away bits and pieces. Wireless charging down here, 2 USB-C charging ports, and the shortcut buttons to lots of your, I suppose, your most used things. However, if you do want to get into climate, I mean, there's always a shortcut button as such here, but it is still a, a haptic screen button. I do find this infotainment very easy to use. You just swipe through your different modes. You'll get information about the car, energy flow when you're driving. It's all just like, there's cars that I jump into and you're, even after a few days, you're still going, how does that work again? Not the case with this. It's just very short, very direct. Get into the settings, find out what you want to know, set up different options, get the owner's manual. There are the different modes that you can tweak and set up your individual mode depending on how you like the car. Then you have a massively wide display here, really high resolution for your nav and all your different displays. You can obviously customize that and change different things. You'll notice the range there, so that's the minimum, and the 457, depending on how you drive it, and if you turn off climate and stuff, you'll get more. The official range is over 600 kilometers in this car. So again, easy to use. Back to the home screen, type in nav, and there you go. And actually, if you press this shortcut button, it brings you to your nearest chargers. You can set up filters so you find different ones. All works very, very well. So that is a good idea of how funky and futuristic the EQE is on the inside. It's glorious. There's no getting away from the fact that behind the wheel of the EQE, you know you're in something heavy. But you also, from the get-go, know you're in something extremely luxurious. And for the most part, it's a smooth, very, very refined experience. The only Achilles heel, if there is one, it can be a little bit harsh due to the wheels, due to the weight of the car, the suspension setup, whatever it is. If you're going over somewhat poor surfaces, potholes, speed ramp a bit too fast, you do get a bit of a clatter, and you probably don't really expect it because it's so refined at all other times. I mean, you could hear a pin drop inside this cabin. You can't hear the outside world. It's so well insulated. So that's kind of the shock factor. And it's the odd times, not all the time. The odd time you just go, oh, that was a bit hard. 292 brake horsepower, nearly 600 newton meters of torque. It's no slouch. It doesn't have the same urgency as, for example, the quite a bit cheaper BMW i4. But then once it does get moving, it feels like you have this juggernaut of electricity just gliding along the road. Gets a lot of attention on the road because it is quite unusual looking, particularly at the front. I'm not sure if you necessarily know by looking at it that it's an electric car, but you certainly know it's a Mercedes, that's for sure. Dare I say it, and that road surface is a little bit mucky, a little bit slippy. You could probably get the back out on this if you weren't paying attention. but there's lots of safety aids to keep you on the straight and narrow at the same time. There is a sense of a cocooned feeling around you, the way the doors wrap around you, the way, just even the way the seats kind of hug your body. So again, I remember E-classes of old, I remember getting into one as a kid before and just thinking, God, that windscreen is massive. And this does feel like it's actually a little bit more snug inside compared to, those 90s and noughties E-Class Mercedes. The thing you can never get away from is the finish of it. It's just so good. It's so striking. Every time you get into it, you're going to impress yourself. And I suppose, for me, and if you're honest and you're into cars, there is a sense of driving a nice car, owning a nice car, that actually makes you feel good, And that might be quite visceral, and that's fine. But you're lying to yourself if you pretend that having a nice car doesn't make your life just that extra tiny bit more enjoyable. That's the sense of satisfaction you should get from a car, and I think driving this you will. It's an awful lot of money, there is no doubt about it, but this is a car that they've put together with you as a driver in mind, enjoying these opulent surroundings and feeling very good about life, even if you're just in the car. I noticed BMW is the same as well. They don't really like you going near the bonnet in these cars anymore. So the washer fluid is on the side of the car and you just push it in and pop it out. It's like almost like the drawer on a washing machine. Top me up with powder. That's kind of what it's like. There is a bit of road noise from the tyres. Nothing too major though. If there's a criticism about it, it doesn't perhaps maybe drive as well as an equivalent Audi or BMW, like the e-tron Grand Coupe style design. That e-tron, that does drive better. It's a sharper handling car, but I don't know if you'll be buying this car for its handling. You're just buying this car because it's just luxurious, Quite a lot of time I've seen the fuel economy at about 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's if you're driving it on, and that would suggest you'll get 300 kilometers from a single charge. I think that's unfair though. I think we can get closer to 20 kilowatt hours if we take it easy. Just like I have the heated seat on here, steering wheel feels great. It's a very comfortable car. Put it this way, an current E-Class owner is not going to get into this and feel any way disappointed. They're going to love it. And I think that is kind of perhaps the most important customer for Mercedes when they're thinking of the EQE. Will an E-Class customer spend a bit more to get into it? They've got to make it that good that they should want to. But I've really enjoyed driving this. How could you not enjoy driving a car like this for a week? Looking back at it when you park it, sitting in traffic, people looking at you going, what the hell is he to do getting for that car? And inside my mind is saying, it's not mine. Oh, and for on-street charging, it has an 11 kilowatt charger on board. That really does make quite a bit of difference. I mean, it'd be amazing if everything did 22, but I'll take 11 all day long. Thank you very much, if it's going. Oh, and another thing, the sound system is also lovely. So even in really infuriating traffic, you've got your favourite tunes on, you've got the ambient lighting on, it might be dark, but you're cozy. You feel like you're kind of in your favourite chair at home, but you're just behind the wheel of a Mercedes. Sure, if you like playing the lotto, you could consider its bigger brother or sister, the EQS, but I think for most people, this is more than enough. As the famous saying goes, oh Lord, why don't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? So, yeah, if you don't win the lotto, you'll have to stick with the buying option. But I do think if you had one of these in the driveway, you'd be very, very happy indeed. Thanks for coming with me this far in the video review today of the all-new Mercedes EQE. 170 kilowatt charging is also what the car can achieve in charging speeds, and that will dump quite a lot of energy and range into the car in 15 minutes, should you find a charger that fast. And in Ireland, that's not easy to do, not to mention the fact that you're probably nearly better off going to Ionity now, because ESB have made public chargers almost as expensive, but don't do anywhere near the speeds. So if you have a car like this that charges that fast, For the extra 10 cents per kilowatt hour, you might as well just jump on that gravy train. Not gravy train for you, gravy train for ESB or Ionity or whatever. Although I'm sure that price is going to go up pretty much anytime soon as well. Charge it at home and you'll love it. It's very classy, kind of firm. Maybe wouldn't expect it to be as firm as it is. But if you like wafting around in luxury and not hearing really a pin drop from the outside world, the EQE is the electric car for you. Thank you very much for watching.